we are getting deeper and deeper into the energetic field. And as we move along, there are gateways of this pure energy beginning to open. And we are getting into that space of effortless flow. There is a zone, there is a point in our energetic experience where the flow starts to change, where everything starts becoming lighter, everything starts becoming more easy, and manifestations start happening as if there is a supreme intelligence guiding everything. Actually, that is a truth. We're all living in a simulated reality called the divine drama, or call it the game of life, or call it the movie of life, in which everything is so beautifully orchestrated. And the plot of the movie actually revolves around each one of us individually. This is one mega movie in which each one of us is a star. Each one is performing the lead role. The difference is that we do not know that we are performing the lead role in this movie, and that everything is actually revolving only around us as an individual. We are somehow in the center of this movie. And the script has been written, and it's very beautifully playing out. But why this beautiful script becomes a little hazy, difficult at times is because the heaviness of the mind comes in. Because we start to interfere with that script. And we start manifesting challenges in our lives. You will find it difficult to believe and understand that how can we manifest challenges in our life? How can we who are looking for happiness and joy actually become the roadblocks, become the reason for the journey becoming less joyous, or sometimes even heavy? The experience of unhappiness, the experience of stress, anxiety, the experience of finding life difficult to negotiate. All this is actually happening only because our mind starts to interfere with the script of life. And when the mind starts to do its own thing and goes against the flow of the script that is written, is when we start experiencing this heaviness, this difficulty, these challenges, these issues in relationships, these so-called problems start to emanate in our life. So, and when we are in the flow, when we are part of this consciousness that is constantly flowing, and we step into that flow and surrender to that flow, life becomes like a one beautiful dream. And we call coincidences, serendipity, and a life which is series of flows. Actually, when we look back at our lives, we have realized that all the big things that have happened in our life have actually happened by chance. They happened because we were in the right place at the right time. It wasn't because of our doing that those things happened. Doors open and doors shut on their own without us asking for them to be opened or shut. And it's the small little things which the mind interferes with. So if the big things of life are happening by themselves, then that means there must be a scriptwriter. And if the scriptwriter can write the big things, even the smaller things are already addressed. Because those small little things add up to the big things. Because life itself is not in the big moments, because life is here and now in this moment. And in this moment is the smallest moment. It's like an infinite, yet it is very finite and small. And it comes to us in a capsule in the present moment. And if we can learn the art of living this present moment in full integrity, in full completion, and if we can be present here and now, then the so-called future and the big moments of life are already taken care of. Because as we said, everything comes in time as the present moment. And that is the concept of surrender. Because when we start thinking of surrender, we think, oh, we're going to lose everything. How it's going to happen. How difficult it must be. But actually, surrender isn't difficult at all. If you were to simply apply this idea of being able to live in the moment, here and now, without being distracted by any other thing, without being caught up in multiple things, then we have actually surrendered ourselves to the flow of higher consciousness. But when we are distracted, when we have a phone in our hand, when we have thoughts in our head, when we have multiple things running through our head, we are just stuck in the space of time. Our mental space needs to be cleared. It's not the physical space. Because energy, as we discussed yesterday, crosses the barriers of time and space. So surrender means being fully present in this moment, here and now. And there is no other thought going into the head other than being in this moment, and therefore the accompanied state is a state of blankness or emptiness. Because this whole of creation is actually created out of this emptiness. And this big blue sky that we see, and sometimes full of clouds, is nothing but this empty container. Space, Akasha, is just an empty container. The color that we see is just nothing but a reflection of light. And this land and where we are sitting, and these places that we are sitting on, which we call as our home, is actually speeding up so fast. It's rotating at the speed of something like 60,000 miles an hour or kilometers an hour. So everything is in such a state of flux and moving. Yet we call it as life. Yet we call it as our homes. And yet we call it as hotels and hospitals and restaurants. Every concept is being created by our mind because we described it as such. Because when you start removing the walls of your home and the walls of your workplace and the walls of the restaurants and the hospitals and the theaters and the malls, when you remove all the walls away, all that remains is an empty space. By dividing it in through walls, we call it different names. But just remember, if you were to just go across and if you can visualize breaking all the walls of your home right now where you're sitting, breaking all the walls of that popular shopping mall where you go to get your vegetables and to get your groceries or to get your clothes. If you start breaking all the walls, what will remain will be just this open sky and this space. So, therefore, all that we call as our home is nothing but emptiness contained in the four walls. And just because we want to fill this emptiness, we put some furniture in it and we sit on it and we call it a home. So, in reality, this home is nothing but a container of emptiness. And in that is our human body. And this human body, if you were to look at it, behind the skin are the bones, and behind the bones and between the skin and the bones are some tissues, and then there are some muscles, and then behind them are some nerves, and there are some veins which are carrying in the blood, and behind that actually what carries it is blood. What is blood? Blood is nothing but water. What does the body consist of? It's 75% is water. What is inside is basically space. And it is this space in which the energy comes, which is the soul, which the energetic presence of what we call as the Atman or what we call as the love energy. It needs space. So it flows in empty space inside a body, it flows in the empty space called this room or this home, and it flows through this internet connection to all of you. So actually, it is emptiness that pervades everywhere, which is the hosting agency, which is the container which hosts everything. But what resides in this emptiness, whether it be the body or a home or a restaurant or a hotel or a hospital, what resides inside this emptiness is energy. That's all. If you break down all concepts of all that you've heard all through your life, what remains in the end is emptiness and energy. Let's call it E into E. Energy in emptiness. And while each one of us present here today are actually nothing but energy in emptiness. And we have so much of ego attached to this energy and emptiness. And we are stuck in this name calling and in this whole idea. So, if you were to experience your truth, if you were to experience your reality, then you have to experience this emptiness. Because in that emptiness comes the experience of the energy. And this energetic experience is such a great leveler because it breaks the boundaries of all walls. And once these boundaries are blurred, we come together as one because the energetic experience has no physical boundaries. All the walls are broken, and then the experience comes. And as the experience comes, there's nothing else left other than the experience. And the experience itself is what is our truth. And when we become aware of this experience, and we remain in the awareness of this experience at all times, is what is called as self-realization. And it is this what we are pursuing. Behind all the facades that we carry, behind all the pretenses that we have, behind all the busyness and the priorities that we carry, behind all the impatience and restlessness that we have, lies this one reality, which is immovable, which is unchangeable, which is always peaceful, which is always in a state of constancy. And it is what we are experiencing. It is what we are seeking. And once the seeking becomes intense, and once this seeking becomes overwhelming, once it is this that we start to seek at all times without any distraction, then this energetic experience becomes a reality. Then this energy has nowhere else to hide, nowhere to disguise itself. It must reveal itself to us. Because that is what we have been carrying, and that is who we truly are. So it is as simple as that. It is as uncomplicated as that. So when we empty ourselves from all the concepts and beliefs and ideas that we have carried, and we go into what basically it's all about, and if we use our free will, if we use this understanding to perform actions that will get us to this experience, then no one can keep us away from this experience. When I say surrender the mind, I do not mean that you become mindless idiots. What I mean is, let go of all your opinions and ideas and beliefs about yourself and the world. Empty yourself. You still will need the mind. You still will need the mind to execute what you need to do. But what you need to do must come from the right understanding. Must come from the right understanding of who you truly are and why you are here and what is it that you're seeking. It comes from that clarity that is missing in our lives, that makes us go around in circles and circles and circles, that keeps us always busy, that keeps us always important, that keeps us always trapped. To break that trap, to break that prison, we must use our free will. we must use the power of the will, the Atmik Shakti, to do what we have come to do. So, with clarity comes this search, the seeking, and when the seeking becomes intense and the silence ensues, the experience has to come. And therefore, more and more, all our experiences are beginning to come. The need for language and the need for words has been becoming scarcer and scarcer, lesser and lesser. Why do we need any languaging when the experience of this presence is beginning to come to us? And as today's morning message was in the video, that once this experience comes, this experience has that supreme intelligence, this energy has this supreme intelligence to do what needs to be done. But we need to be open and we need to be a seeker. And we need to use our free will to seek. We need to use our free will to unlearn. We need to use our free will to surrender to this higher force, which is not outside of us, which is our own higher self. And we need to trust it, we need to believe it. And when we are in trouble, we don't need to keep sending messages to different people to try and, get some safety insurance covers. So, what can I say more other than to continue on this energetic experience that we started off and let this energy turn you around and show you what you need to see, give you the experience. So just close your eyes and experience the presence.